I have been a night owl for my entire life. Ever since I was removed from the womb. Like the womb. I came out like a tumor baby because I was a C-section. So you're probably wondering, why am I here today? And it's because I have some exciting news to share with you all. I'm becoming a morning person. I know, hold your applause, hold your applause. Thank you, thank you. If you're like me and you struggle to get out of bed in the morning, but yet again you're on your phone at like 5, 4 in the morning, this is for you, baby girl. This is for you, baby boo. I'll also be sharing some tips and tricks that help me into making a smoother transition. So let's dive right in. Let's dig in. Alright, so before we get into the tips, let's talk about my struggle with mornings. I used to be the ultimate night owl. I'm not even joking with you. I was constantly staying up late watching YouTube, on Instagram, pretty much just doom scrolling until the birds were chirping pretty much. And I would have set like 1,000 alarms. I didn't wake up to any of them. And I wouldn't even wake up until like 4 p.m. So pretty much all of my day was taken away because I decided that I wanted to stay up and be a night owl. Well, no more. No more after this. I will no longer be that girl. I will be this girl, not that girl. So doing all that, I did not have any sort of willpower to ever get up in the morning. And I didn't even try. But a lot of things have happened and I'm 22 now, and I realized that I want to do more with my life and be able to pretty much live throughout my day. I don't want to be asleep forever, you know? I don't want to just sleep my day away. And plus, like Steve Harvey said, you will be poor if you keep slipping. Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing, but what he had to say in a pretty much motivational speaking aspect, he had a lot of great things to say about it. And he pretty much said that it's like a thief in the night. You'll be poor if you just keep sleeping your life away. And I've decided that the time is now. I'm just now getting into my 20s, and I've decided that I don't want to spend it asleep. I want to travel the world. I have goals in mind that I want to achieve, and the time is now before I'm not able to move around like I can, and I'm old and decrepit, no offense. I mean, some people age gracefully out here, like, mommy. It really bothered me how I wasn't able to go about my day, or I would just wake up and the day was pretty much already over, because not everything is open in the nightlife unless you live in the city, and I don't live in the city, so there's not a lot to do at night because it's so quiet and everything is closed. But after this challenge, I want to be able to fully enjoy all this accessible time and get more things done throughout the day, like doing chores and running errands pretty much, because the fridge is empty. If you know, you know. You feel me? You feel me? The first step in becoming a morning person for me was finding my reasoning, aka motivation. I hardly like to use the word motivation. I don't believe you necessarily need motivation in order to get things done, but it does help in certain aspects. I've realized that I was missing out on the most productive part of the day. So I decided every night that I was gonna write a list of all the things that I plan to get done that day. It really helped with getting my priorities straight and trying to follow a routine rather than just waking up and just doing whatever and not knowing exactly what I have to do. I highly advise making a to-do list, but don't make it like a generic to-do list, because I know a lot of people have a hard time getting to-do lists done. I have a hard time with that as well, but I've learned so many ways, so many methods on how I can overcome not marking off everything on my to-do list to marking off a few things, marking off several things. It really takes breaking everything down to a more specific task rather than saying do laundry. Start off with saying dry and wash the first load, something as simple as that, because once you've done that and you check that off your list, you get that dopamine rush, you get that dopamine, that serotonin, whatever you like to call it. It makes you feel more accomplished, and you'll find more reasons to just keep going because you're like, oh, this feels good, I'm getting things done. And by the time you look at your list, you've cleared the whole roster. And by the time you look back at it at the end of the day, you're done, babe. You're done. I'm going through changes. I can't sing, it's okay. I didn't want to shock my system by suddenly waking up at 5 a.m. So what I've done to combat that when it comes to my sleep schedule is I gradually make my way there. So instead of waking up at 5 a.m. and like really being groggy and cranky and not really wanting to do things because I'm so tired, I work with my schedule and then make changes accordingly. So if I'm used to waking up at 4 p.m., I start waking up at 12 p.m. and so on and so on. But because I do work the night shift, and it does make it difficult for me to be awake during the day because I get off at 4:30 a.m. and I won't get home until like 5, and then again I do have to shower, brush my teeth, and by the time I get into bed it's about 6 a.m. So you really have to learn about your body. That's a really important aspect of it, is listening to your body, listening to yourself, because if you decide to make these changes so drastically and your body is not coping with it, it's time to reevaluate and make smaller changes to get to where you want to be. It's like if you want to go to the gym, you're trying to work on building muscle and toning up. You're not gonna go in the gym and try to lift 100-pound weights when you've never lifted a weight in your life. You have to start making gradual changes. You build up to that. You start off with 5, go to 8, 10, 25, and eventually you'll make it there. You don't just start off there because you're gonna be sore, you're gonna crash, you're not gonna feel good, you don't feel the motivation to keep going. So it really helps to start off slow. And if you feel like you're not making progress, take notes. It is always great to take notes. Taking notes is the best thing that ever existed. I would suggest if you don't have paper, buy paper. You're gonna need it. It's gonna be more beneficial for you to buy paper and write down the progress. Not paper per se, but a journal, and mark your progress rather than having it in your phone, because you're not always gonna be adamant to look at that unless it works for you. Again, this is only what I've done and what I've learned from personal experience, but of course, cater everything to your own specific needs. One of the key elements to becoming a morning person is having a morning routine. Let me say it for the people in the back. Having a morning routine is really crucial, very crucial that you have a routine, because without any sort of structure, it's gonna crumble and fall. Let me just tell you that. And that goes for anything in life. That goes for you as an individual, it goes for like your friends and family, and it even goes for businesses. It's literally everything, because if you have a business and you don't have a routine, you don't have any sort of structure to it, it's going to crumble, it's gonna collapse, it's just not gonna work. I've talked about one of the key elements, which is having a routine, but there are key values that you need in order to be successful in becoming a morning person, but also just anything in life pretty much. And the 3 key elements is willpower, determination, and self-discipline. You can add like a 4th one, which would be motivation, but I really like to leave that out. You can only have so much of that, because there's gonna be days where you're not feeling motivated to do the things you need to get done. And I felt that so many times where I wake up and I don't have the motivation to do something, but I have enough willpower to do it anyways. So once again, it's self-discipline, determination, and willpower. My favorite one out of all 3 of them is the self-discipline portion, because if you can learn how to have self-discipline, you are set. I'm telling you right now, having self-discipline takes you so far. It is the most top-tier trait that you could ever have, and ultimately leads to your success. So if you struggle with having self-discipline for yourself, I would take a lot of time aside to figure out where you're going wrong, figuring out what mistakes you're making and what can you do to improve your self-discipline, whether it's for something like this, becoming a morning person, or budgeting. It's a really big part of finance. Best way to tell if you are self-disciplined is when it comes to finance. If you know how to create a budget, cut your spending, save, acquire assets rather than liabilities, then you are set to go. But if not, you're still struggling and you're pretty much saying you're broke, you're poor, learn some self-discipline. And I may even make another video on that, self-discipline, willpower, and determination, and how you can pretty much improve your life altogether. To make mornings more enjoyable, I added things that I love to my routine. For me, that's listening to motivational speeches while I get ready and have a delectable cup of tea and a small breakfast, something like eggs, avocado, and some turkey bacon. The process of becoming a morning person takes patience and persistence. There were days when I slipped up and hit the snooze button, but I didn't beat myself up over it. I learned to be persistent and get back on track the next day. So there you have it. That is my complete journey of becoming a morning person. I sincerely hope that these tips and insights helped you become a morning person, or at least help you on your journey to becoming a morning person. Remember, it's all about finding your motivation, making gradual changes, and creating a morning routine that works for you. Remember the 3 core values that I spoke about earlier, which is self-discipline, determination, and willpower. Those are very important. If you enjoyed this video and find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more lifestyle and self-improvement videos. Also, let me know in the comments if you're working towards becoming a morning person, and even share your own tips and tricks on what you did. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.